Hello, everyone. Welcome to my universe. So, let's see. What did I want to do today? I actually think most things are looking pretty good. And I finished, the vestment area last time. I didn't quite finish the little belts coming off of it. I was kind of tired on Monday, but these things happen. Anyway. Yeah, so I guess I'll start there, and, then I can start getting into the hands and all these things in the foreground before I just, gradually work my way toward the background. Yeah, sounds good to me. Let's go. Hold on, I'm gonna tangled up in cords. Okay, got too many things. Alrighty. Yeah, fortunately, I do think it all looks pretty good, so I don't really have anything I want to fix here. All right. Let's see. That's right. I was turning out the veil for a bit. You know what? Since I just got started, I think I will go ahead and try to finish her veil here. And initially, I was planning on putting this part behind her shoulder. But frankly, I think I like it better in front of her shoulder. So I'm just going to leave it like... I changed my mind! Alright, so yeah, unironically, I think I prefer it like that. I guess just for a quick check, I can plop in a transparency mask here. Actually, you know what? For a quick check, I don't even think I have to go that far. Let's just do a quick bit of erasing. I can do it in 2 strokes, since they're on separate layers. That's actually maybe a slightly harder choice than I thought it was. Okay, I'll be good and use the transparency mask. This way I can derp around with it. Oh yeah, and I can make it super easy. Where is the layer with her shoulder? It's like way down here. Here it is. There we go. Oh, why is that such a blob? Oh, whatever. Oh, I put it on the trim layer. That's why. It was supposed to go over everything. Okay. That makes more sense. That's why it was such a blob. Okay. And then I think to really test it, this is why I brought out the transparency mask. It's like I wanted to take a quick look because it looked better than I thought it would going behind. I guess I can see why past me thought it was the way to go. I'll go ahead and just add the little bit to the back here. Oh, I still have a color filter on. I gotta get rid of that. There we go. Gotta have accurate colors. It's very important. Okay. So I have the basics in, and now I can make the decision. And I do think it probably does look better in front. Yeah, and then it goes back behind there. Okay, but now I know for sure. I am satisfied. Alright, so since this trim layer is just all on its own here, not clipped to anything, I used it to kind of help me draw this in the first place. I can just start smoothing it out right away. So here we go. I forget exactly where I stopped smoothing things here. But, yeah, it doesn't really matter that much. I'm gonna hide my back layer for just a second there. Where are you? I have too many layers. I complain about this more than I but it keeps happening. As much as I'd like to use less, I don't know, I have found that separating things does let me change things more, which lets me stay a little bit more flexible, so... Well, I do have to complain about scrolling through a bunch of layers. It lets me change my mind a lot, and I appreciate that. So I do think it's worth it. Sometimes I miss the days when I drew just on one layer. Let me see something here. Yeah, this looks really bad, doesn't it? Up here is okay, but this looks really bad. Okay. I'll fix that too while I'm here. You know what? I'm gonna do it right now. Because it is bothering me, and this area is supposed to be done. But no, I don't like it. So let's make that look nice. Yeah, I think that's better. There we go. Okay. Yep. I think I can be happy with that, and I think I want this to be a little bit sharper, or at the very least I want to control the curve a little bit better than I currently am, so I'm just gonna cut it off there. I probably don't want it to be overly sharp. I'll see how it all shakes out. So, you know, it turns out that I could have just finished the entire veil before moving on to the body. Ah, it's all good. I can do it now. It is never too late. Okay, and let's see, how is this gonna kind of curve around? It's gonna, like, come down like this at some point, just in the back. So I think all I really need to do is just make sure it kind of continues on like that. So I'm just gonna round it out there. And then we can have it kind of go whoop, and a slide in there once I draw the backside. Whatever I have for the backside for now is fine. Totally fine. Because, you know, it's not done yet. Alright. And I had, you know, in true me fashion, I do prefer to just take care of everything in the front before I move on to the things in the back. So, I find it much easier. How exactly does this work? Mind kind of farting on me slightly. Anyway, let me go put this in. And then I can figure out how I want to handle that shadow there. And I really don't think I need anything just fading it into the background. For some things, I would. But with such a strong light coming from the back, and such a weak light coming from the front, at least with how I'm picturing the lighting in my scene here, I just don't think it's necessary to do that kind of thing. I don't. Alright, how do I want to do this? I'm trying to think about how this would be sitting here, so basically, you know, let me do a little doodle and see if I can explain what I'm picturing in my head. So we got the little, you know, flap there. So if I were to do lines on it, it'd be kind of like this, where we'd have the pleat going out like that. Then, you know, this guy would be kind of coming up through here, and this guy would connect kind of up here. I probably have the angles of this totally wrong. Let me get a little better. So, you know, we got something like this. And then the inside is gonna kind of connect up like that. So in here is gonna be all shadowed. So there'll be like a shadow bit here. But how does it connect into this? Is it just like... Because this is not... Or does it do something like that? This kind of contradicts everything else that I've been doing. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to have the light go through. I think that probably only made sense to me, but I'll show you what I'm thinking. So what I think I want to do is kind of have the light coming through here, and we'll just let it kind of end like that. Corner to corner. Yeah, there we go. That makes sense to me. This makes sense to my brain. Yeah, looks good to me. Okay. So, sometimes my brain just wants to overcomplicate things, and I think it's doing that today. So I'm gonna have to tell it to chill out a little bit. It's all good. Let me see. Okay, for a second there, I thought my mouth wasn't moving. Okay, and now I just fill in the gaps here. I'll have to mess around with the kind of overlap layers I got here too. And I think this one is no longer correct based on new information because we got this thing and it's just kind of gonna plop down here. Wait. Okay, no, I have to think about this again. Because we'll have the stuff from the back. This entire side is gonna have overlap. Because yeah, it's hanging off the back of her head. Over here it won't, because this is gonna curve this way, and the back part of it is coming from, like, down here. That, again, one of those things that makes sense to me, but, I'm gonna do a better job of trying to explain what I'm thinking here. Alright. So, we have the veil. It is, you know, longer in the back than it is the front. So up here is a shorter, up here is a shorter, and then we have this kind of hanging down on the back. I need a better color. Hanging down on her back here, it's gonna kind of come all the way down here. This is all being drawn on another layer, so it's safe. And then we just have these additional little pleats kind of hanging down from her back. And all of this will be behind her, of course. And it'll come down here and just kind of, you know, do these kind of little things down back there. Just, you know, better. It's okay. This is a rough sketch. And so we'll have pleats kind of coming up from this side. So I think a lot of this side is actually going to be, like, doubled up. And of course, with the way this is going to be folding, so this is going to come over here and then down. You can see there's a lot of areas that I think will be overlapping. So I think most of this side is actually going to be overlapped, whereas very little of this side will. See, we got this part coming down here like this. I'm going to clear it and be a little bit neater about this. But just to give myself an idea of what this will actually look like later. Rough, but fine. And it'll come up the back there. So yeah, this is kind of what I'm seeing in my head. So this entire area here just plop through. I do think that they overlap, like this entire side. So I want this to be a little bit more opaque to show that there is translucent cloth on top of translucent cloth. Okay. I'm making sense to myself again. Over here, I'm declaring that it goes up kind of like this. Just based on how I have that drawn here. So all of this would be overlapped. But you can see none of this is. So I think I have this side pretty okay. But this side I think is going to be mostly overlapping. And there we go. I figured out how to explain it. Okay. So I've got some work to do with my layer, trying to make things a little bit more opaque. Okay, so, let's do it. So I selected it, hopefully, while it was at 100% opacity, so hopefully the selection there won't have like partial transparency or other annoying things that would mess with what I'm trying to do here. There we go. Let's try to make this side look a little bit more opaque. This might still be a little bit too opaque. I might lower the opacity just a little. But I want it to be more opaque than everything else. And there might be a little bit somewhere that maybe is not quite as opaque. I'll have to think about it again. But this is... Honestly, I think this veil and like some of her headpieces are such good design elements and, dare I say it, iconic to her, that I really do want to try to get them right as best I can. Okay, this side is not going to be overlapping because her hair is in the way. So anything with hair will not be opaque because her hair will be separating the two layers of cloth. But yeah, I do genuinely think that it is just such a cool design element that I just want to make sure it's really pretty and that I get the details right. Yeah, so that also goes for, like, over here, I think. Maybe? Let's see. So this overlapping point would be from back here. Would this overlap in front of her hair? Okay, I'll think about that in a little bit. Let me just erase everything that has hair coverage for now. Let's see. I actually don't think it would overlap here. Okay. Once again, I need to think about structure. My one weakness. Trying to understand the depth of things. Alright. I think here's probably overlapping. So we have this bit of cloth coming through here, and then this bit of cloth stopping here. Does it overlap? Does it overlap? Let me draw another replica. Okay. I'll draw it a little further down, so it's gonna be like this, kind of over and then down here. Actually, I should just draw it on top. Okay, so if I just have it like that, I know that this part, just kind of comes up. It's all gonna kind of be grouping on the top of her head. So this part will kind of come up, which... So no, this stops here. This stops here. And this piece is just this pleat, I think. So no, I don't think there's any overlap there. Okay. So I think it's mostly just in the back. Whereas all the parts by her hair probably does not have very much overlap. I'm fine with that. It'll make her hair a little bit more visible. And I think that'll look nice. Okay, and then I think some of the broken stuff is just from the braids in the back, and I'm not gonna worry about that yet. Okay, in that case, I can keep it relatively simple. It's really only over here that should be a little bit more opaque. Okay, so, you know, I was just overcomplicating it. That sounds like me. Anyway, let's go draw a hand. Because I think that all looks good now. And I don't think... Does this part need a highlight? Actually, I think it does. I was gonna say, I don't think it needs a highlight, and then I thought about it for more than 30 seconds, and I was like, you know what, I think maybe it does. It's like right over here. It'll make it look like it's sitting a little bit more flat on her shoulder, kind of brushing up against it. Okay. Oh yeah, and I got a little bit of excess there on the back. Okay, there we go. Now everything is all better and all is well. Yeah, I think that looks pretty nice. All right. All right, I wasn't drawing a hand yet. I was drawing this. Okay, so yeah, let's go finish the belts like I initially planned. Scatterbrainedness just hit me like a truck today. I swear I was not this bad when I woke up. But, I don't know, these things happen. It's all good. I'm pretty sure I can still draw okay. I might just bounce around a bit. As much as I say that I want to make my brain, you know, go sit in the corner and do whatever I tell it to do, I don't think it's a problem to indulge it sometimes. So we'll see what I end up feeling like drawing. I really wanted to try to get a brooch today, but we'll see if I am feeling up to doing anything super technical like that. Actually, I think this all still looks pretty good, so... Yeah, there were just a couple of spots up top that I didn't really like. Alright. Time to really fix up the belts here. Continue to believe that Final Fantasy really did a number on anime character design. We're seeing its new successor coming up here with MiHoYo. Just popularizing random things that I really hate in character design. You know, like mismatched footwork. Or footwear, excuse me, and socks. I hate it. Trying too hard to be asymmetrical. Also hate it. It's fine to be asymmetrical, right? I mean, it can even be very positive. But it can come very naturally. You don't have to give your character two different shoes. It's fine. My taste tends to be a little bit more simple. Me complaining about a silly belt aside. I actually really do like her design. It is very simple. And you know, the mismatched footwear aside. It is one of those things that it has some asymmetry that I do consider fairly effortless. Very nice. It's not trying too hard. You got the nice little pouch on the side there, and her skirt is not completely symmetrical. It's beautiful. It's got that little slit in the side that comes up, and the nice little underdress underneath it. That's really pretty. The angle here is totally off, though. It's like skewed. I hate it. There we go. That's so much better. Okay. Let's just flatten up the top a little bit. Fix up the side. This is probably way more effort than this little thing deserves, but man. I don't know, I just really don't like the way it looks yet. There we go. Okay, and you know what? Before I get into shading everything, I think I'm just gonna smooth out things over here too. Let's see, where's her neck? Right there. Yeah, I already kind of have this going to the right place. I will eventually be trimming off the sides there, but I just want to get all the things drawn first. As a personal preference. Okay. So I think this one got a little bit thick, so I'm kind of thinning it out a bit. Just trying to get it a little bit more proportionate to this one. This one I don't see as coming forward quite as much, so I'm gonna keep it a little bit more consistent all the way through in terms of width. If anything, that probably means that this one should be a little bit longer, so you know what? I'm gonna do that. Since I am saying that this one is coming toward the viewer, I will make it just a little bit shorter. But you can see, the tilt isn't that strong. Oh yeah, and then one other thing that's going to happen is I'm going to make sure that this goes all the way around like that. But I kind of wanted to do some shading, but you know, now that I've drawn it, no, this is way better. Okay. In terms of order of operations, I was planning on shading this part a little bit first, but now that I look at it, I actually think this will be easier to manage. So, you know what? Worked out. That's it. I do need to clean this up before I do anything at all similar on the other side there. Okay, and you know what? I'm feeling especially lazy with this. This one is good enough. Let's just make it again, and I'm just gonna bring it over here. Yeah, this is fine. Maybe I should have shaded it first, but it's fine. There we go. Looks fine to me. Okay, let's get it going behind the neck now. So where is her dress? There we go. Going behind the neck now. Nice and easy. Okay. Yeah, now I guess I just shade it and then it'll be good. You know what? I think I am up for the brooch today. Let's do it. If I change my mind in 30 seconds, you know, that's fine. That's normal. I will do it later then, if that ends up being the case. But you know what? I think it'll be okay. Okay. So here, I kind of want a hint of the backside of that. We're gonna send it out like this. And there we go. Now it's a little bit more structurally attached to things. And with the way it's turning, I think we see this side. These do not look like very thick belts to me, so I'm going to keep this little bit nice and thin. And I think before I start putting cast shadows and whatnot on the vestibits, I will do the brooch. Or is it a necklace? I'm not really sure. It has like a chain going around it, but I can't actually tell if it goes around her neck or not. I've just been calling it a brooch. Okay, and then this will be in shadow here and right about there. So that's how it's wrapping around the, can I call that a buckle? The metal bit. Yes, the metal bit. Okay, and I'll put highlights on later. Let's go ahead and just go shade this side for now. Okay. Did I do something weird? I don't think so. I'm gonna go to the dress layer. This is kind of bothering me. Where is the dress layer? Here it is. And I just kind of want to have a consistent shadow from her head here. And once again, I will handle all of the cast shadows and stuff, even from the hair here, after I go ahead and draw everything else. This part just being from her head is strictly so I can figure out where the cast shadow from her head is showing on the belt. And it goes to about there, which is perfect. Alright. This one, I don't think we see a lot of the side. It does look like it's coming a little bit more towards us. But nonetheless, even on this one, I think just due to how it's swinging, I think we see this side. And then it changes. So up here we see this side. So it's just swinging about without a care in the world. And I think that'll do a good job of showcasing the very, very light breeze I'm going for. And this also reminds me that I intended to put some loose strands in her hair, and I still haven't done that. Okay, I want to finish what I'm doing here, but then I want to go back and do that. I think I'll even do that before I do this. If I've forgotten for this long, then I gotta do it, but I hate interrupting what I'm working on. Sometimes it's necessary, but I think I can finish this first. I do. Okay, there we go. Swing it around, and I guess since I already have colors for it, I'll go ahead and put in the light parts. There we go. I think this should sell this wrapping around there. And then I think the other highlight is going to be right through here. This should look better once I get some cast shadows on it. But I think that's it. Yeah, it even kind of lines up here, so I probably want it to be tilting like that in order to match the light. But this one's a little special, because this one's flopping about. So, yes, we get one here again. Just due to how it's wrapping around the belt buckle. We also get one here, just a little guy, I think. Because I think that this part is pointing, like, directly toward the viewer. And if your hair is long enough to grab... I think this kind of texture is adjacent to hair. But if you take your hair and you fold it over your finger, and it's long enough that you can actually look at it, you'll kind of be able to see where the highlights start to show up. Because they like to show up at little curves and stuff. That's why I said I think that this is hair adjacent. At least in terms of shading it. Okay. Let's go ahead and get the metal now. I don't actually have shadow colors for this because this is a color I picked like specifically for this, so here we go. Let's get the shadow color. Not working for me. Let's try a gray, purple, and multiply. I have found that I've been doing this more often than my usual overlay method. So I'm wondering if my taste in colors might have just changed at some point, which is weird to think about. Let's see, do we see the top or the bottom of this? I think we see the bottom. I guess it depends on which way I want it to be twisting. Because, like, I could do it like this, and I think that actually looks pretty good. Yeah. So this makes it look like it's kind of twisting around, kind of like this. Whereas if I did the bottom, which I will be doing over on the other side so I can demonstrate there. You see, now it looks like it's coming up like that. Whereas on this one, if I had done it, say, on the top, it would now look like it's twisting away from us. So, that's kind of how I think about these things. But no, this one I want to be pointed toward the viewer, so we see the bottom. And this side. Alright, there we go. I think that's pretty good. Let's give him a little highlight too. Let's see. I don't think I want to use the same golden highlights, so I'll pick a new one. That looks good to me. I don't think it needs much highlights. I think I just want a little bit kind of around the edge here, just to make it look a little rounder. Alright, there we go. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Let's go actually do her hair. Let's go. Okay. Strands. Let's get them. I don't know, her hair just has a slightly messy quality to it, in my opinion. So I kinda, you know, want to show that. And I think it's cute. I think it suits her really well of just being just a little bit, maybe careless. No, careless is not the right word. But, you know, just not necessarily caring that much about keeping her hair neat. And I think it suits her. And I might even put a few just going over her bangs a little. Not there, though. I don't want it to follow the shape of the highlights perfectly like that. that would not look good. Actually, if I'm gonna do that, it should be this color. There we go. See, this is why I knew I wanted to do this at some point, but I kept forgetting. Somehow I feel like becoming a little bit forgetful while drawing Memoria is also suitable. Okay, I'm gonna go hide her braids again. Most of those are gonna be shadowed, and I just want to make sure that all this looks nice here. Like, it should look messy, but it's a cute messy, not an ugly messy. So I do want to make sure it looks very nice. You can see I'm making them very thin. I should probably zoom out a little just to, you know, make sure that they hold up and everything. I don't think I'm overdoing it. This is way more than I would normally do, but I think it's working for me, so I'm gonna keep going. Yeah, no, normally I do way less than this. But I kind of like it for her. For her specifically. And I don't necessarily want all of them to follow the flow of the hair. Some of them I do, but some of them, you know, they just kind of need to go their own way. And it'll look better like that. Okay, there we go. I think that's about what I want there. Let's hide the veil and get just a few kind of around the hair vents and stuff. I think that'll be good. You know, I think today is going to be another one of those days where I just kind of mess around. Okay, I think such days are important. It's not even that I'm not feeling hard. I'm actually feeling better today than I have in a while, but, you know, maybe that's why I'm feeling whimsy today. I always tell myself that art, you know, tell people that art should be fun, and then I just want to go and be sweaty. No, we're derping today. I'm just gonna have some fun. Okay, that's sufficient. Okay, now to actually clean that up and make it look good. So this is going to be things like color changes, and I want to make sure that they're not going weird places, and that everything is actually working together and not just pure nonsense. It can be moderate nonsense. That all looks pretty good to me. I don't like this, though. This guy kind of needs to kind of connect with stuff. That all looks pretty good, I think. Let's see, I think you're fine, but I'm gonna let you come out right about here instead. Yeah, and I don't want any, like, floating strands like that one. I was drawing some fireworks for my next short that's coming up. I'll hopefully, you know, post that in the next couple of days. And I was kind of doing the same thing where, you know, I draw very messy. But after a while, it's time to kind of come back and clean things up. So I'm kind of using the same method here, where, you know, I just drew them very loose. And now I'm here making them all make sense. But there we go. I think that's pretty alright. And I think it gives the impression that her hair is a little bit messy. And then we can just kind of contain it within the braids. The braids will be a little bit neater. Maybe a little bit messy near the top, but it'll get neater as they go down. With maybe just the occasional bit of loose hair. Because that's kind of what braids and buns do for you. They let you be lazy with your hair. But yeah, I think that's cute. Alright. So, with that, let's go ahead and go back to brooch area. No, there we go. This group, the one I was trying to close. Okay. What does this thing look like? I just left it as a circle for the time being because that was convenient and easy for me. Okay. No, it doesn't look that bad. It actually looks pretty straightforward. Oh, that's right. I also forgot about the little dot thingies around her head. Yeah, she has like these blue things going around the halo. I should draw those too. You know what? I'm gonna, while I was messing around with her head, let's go do that. That's just because it's easy to forget. And what color is that? Oh, there are lots of different colors. Okay. That's fine. And how do they wrap around? Kind of unclear to me because they didn't put it in the side view. So I'll just do what I want. It's fine. I'm just gonna put a halo around the halo, basically. And I think that'll look alright. Let me see. What, I want to reference them one more time. I really do my best to be accurate. Okay, I'm not gonna do that one first. I'm gonna do this one first. Because this is the one that's really close to the spine here. So I think that one will be easier for me to understand. Oh, and I guess I'm keeping the curtains on today. Yeah, that's fine. I can do that. Honestly, I kind of look forward to drawing those curtains. I think that's going to be fun. I actually like drawing lace. I really hope there's only 6, but I don't see anything suggesting otherwise here. So I'm gonna roll with that thought. We're just gonna pretend. Oh, did I accidentally bring a strand outside of the veil? I think I did. Okay, hold on. Yeah, that's exactly what that is. It's peeking out. I can't allow that to happen. So, I'm rotate that just a little. I should check that a little bit more deliberately. Okay, there's no more other little bits of hair coming out there. Oh, actually, I forgot to put some loose strands from over here. I think this area wants a few. Since it basically is a loose strand itself. Okay, I think that's good. Okay, unfortunately this means I changed the size of my brush, so I'll have to get that back, but I can do that. Zoom in real close and it'll become clear. I think a lot of this is probably going to get its color changed once it comes time to do reflections, but I want the base colors to be accurate. Because that'll give me a nice foundation to colorize it later. And I assume they're the same on both sides? Not exactly, actually. Yeah, it looks like it's actually kind of inverted on the other side. Okay, I'll fix that, actually. I'll still draw it the same way for now, just to get the shapes down. Okay, but I will get the right colors on it. Because I am that much of a perfectionist. It's how I roll. Even if I am just derping around having fun. Look, getting accurate colors is fun to me, okay? Okay, and you see, it's quick, it's fine, it's totally fine. I'm actually surprised that they're different colors. I thought for sure that they'd be the same on both sides, but, well, I've been wrong before. So, there we go. I think I made them a little big. Let's fix that, too. Gotta be careful here, because I don't want to hit the halo itself. Oh, wait, I forgot to hit shift. Okay, there we go. All right, here we go. You know, I better be careful. I'm actually gonna bring him out here, just so I don't overwrite anything important. Okay, I should probably do each group a little bit separately here, so let's get the next dots just a little bigger here. Okay, that seems good. And I'll just bring them back over one by one. It's too bad. I liked a lot of what I had before, but they were just way too dang big. Proportions. I always find new and exciting ways to trip me up. Okay, now let's get these guys a little smaller. Just gonna compare real quick. That's be pretty good. Okay. Yeah, there we go. That's better. That's so much better. Okay. Oh, that was something. Let's go draw that brooch now. I still need to go and take another look at it. It's less complicated than it looks, but it's still a little complicated. I'm probably gonna do it in like 3 layers, and then merge them at the end. Or maybe I'll leave it there. Yeah, let's make you a group, and then I can just collapse the group. And I think it is actually a necklace, but because it does look like it goes around her shoulders. Okay, so first step. Circle needs to turn into a crescent moon. That's easy enough to do. I actually tend to like to start my crescent moons with a circle. So even if I'm just drawing them on my own, that tends to be what I do. And then I can kind of adjust it. I generally have to make a couple of changes in the end, though. Okay, and I'm not going to clean this yet. That seems like a recipe for disaster. Okay. So there we go. And then there are these 2 pointy little stars on them. So, to make my life easy, I'm gonna draw it over here. Let's see. Just taking a good look at it once again. So we have a long, pointy bit. I think it'll be easier to see. Okay, I thought this would be dark gold for some reason, but you know what? Purple works too. I'll be fixing the colors at the end, so it's fine. Okay. Oh, I didn't draw that in a new layer. Let's fix that. Layer, transform, rotate 90 degrees to the right. Okay, and then... Actually, I should use the line tool for this, because then I can get really, really nice angles. So this is going to be the center of it. I want it to be like a perfect 45 degrees. Yes? Yes, I think so. And this should look excellent once I get around to shading it. Okay, you know what? I think I'm going to handle the shading and everything just right now. So that this way I can use symmetry where I think it's appropriate. Let's see. No, I think that these guys are a little bit too big. Let's take it back just a little. I almost forgot that I actually drew these on a new layer. I was the me of like a minute ago was so smart. I totally forgot that I did it, but you know, thank you, me of a minute ago. I appreciate it a lot. Okay. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Let's get the colors right. So I'm gonna want the dark golden color, and I think I'm just gonna use the same gold for everything. It looks like her model artist did too, so works out, makes me happy. Okay. That's why I said certain parts we're definitely gonna benefit from having the symmetry tool. So I figured I'd just go and do that now. It doesn't look like any of them are on top or on bottom. That's all just one solid sheet of metal. And then this is slightly on the bottom. So I think we get something like this. Okay, and I think that's all I can do with symmetry until I add highlights. I'll add some highlights with symmetry too. Okay, I want these to meet in the middle. So I have the mirrors on still, I've just hidden the lines. I have just hidden the lines. Okay, there we go. Actually, I want to unhide the lines this way next time I need them. I won't be confused, because I've done that before. Alright. So I think both of these stars are about the same. They even look like they're the same size. So I'm just going to shade this now. And let's see, where are they going to be sitting? It's like slightly to the left. So I think that means the light's going to hit the right side on both of them. Oh, do I not have it locked? Oh, no, I do. Okay. I just misinterpreted the edge. And then I just clean up everything I drew. And this side on both sides, I think, is the side in shadow. They look very, very pointy out on her model. So I want to give a similar impression here. Okay. This, I want my symmetry back. Because I just don't have this in quite the right spot. Okay, and then this, I think I also want the symmetry back. Because I kind of want to show how it's going inside, or how the bigger spines are on top, more or less. Okay. And then on these, I think this side, this is not true for all of them though, because this side hits the light here. Is that? Yeah, that's not the same one. So we'll get rid of the horizontal, or the vertical symmetry. Okay, there we go. And now I think it is time for highlights. I put you on the wrong side. I really am super absent-minded today. That's alright, I'll fix it. I just want to make sure that this one is still matching all the others. Okay, there we go. And now I can put the shadow in the right spot. No problem. Okay. Highlights! Yes. So I think this one is just going to be totally highlights. And these guys as well, because I just think that this is directly facing the light. Actually, I think I need a few more shadows here. This side. And this side should be dark, and up here... No. The whole thing should be dark up here. There we go. And then I can show the rest of the stuff I want. With some less particular highlights. It's alright, we'll make it nice and shiny. Okay, and so this one will not get a bunch of shine on it. It'll just have the one shiny central column. Same with these guys. I want them to go a little further back. So there we go. There's the stars. So I think they're a little bit big, but I'm not going to resize things just yet. I will worry about proportions once they're all kind of in place. So there we go. We got the 2 stars. Then there's something that I can't tell if it's a flower or a cloud, but it's adjacent to all of that. So I think once again, I'm going to do that with symmetry. I will call you Gem. Okay. Back to happy fun symmetry time. So it's like, it's not that big, but I find it easier to draw things big and then shrink them. So I'm still gonna draw it like that. There we go. That's the shape. I did not have sealed lines. That's fine. I'll just color it normally. It's all good. I made it a little bit weird shaped, so let's try to fix some of that, and then I'll fix the outside clouds a little. Okay, here I just have a little helper installed that I can then center it perfectly again and go back to happy fun symmetry times. Yes. I don't know, this looks kind of bad. I'm gonna try again. I think this time I'll start from over here. I don't know, it still looks kind of bad. I didn't expect it to be this hard to draw. I keep making like the little pill shape here too thick. There we go. That's better. Okay, and for the gem part, I think I'm just gonna duplicate this layer and turn it blue. So this looks like the same blue used up on the little things up here. Yes? I'd say so. Sometimes I forget that I do actually like drawing these things. Why are you not letting me resize? Please. Stop trying to rotate and let me resize it. Thank you. Much appreciated. Okay, there we go. Center it perfectly again. And now we got cloud gem thing. Kind of shading is on that. I don't know, it just looks kind of matte to me. You know, not too dissimilar from the thing up there. So I'm gonna shade it like that. I call it a gem, but I guess it's slightly different. So I'll grab this nice little blue that I got going down there. And based on its location, this is the side that should be in shadow. And this is the impression I get when I look at it. And then with maybe just a tiny little highlight, I think I have any nice kind of whiter highlights? Yeah, there we go. Let's use her eyes. There. That's perfect. Okay. Now on the gem holder bit. It's so small I can't really see it, so... It looks like it's outset, so it's coming out of the holder. So that means that it'll be sticking out, so I want shadow on this side. Highlight on this side. I guess I'll just do the highlights and the shadows at the same time here. It's all good. Okay, then this side will be a little bit shiny. And this side in shadow. And this is kind of the impression I get. Yeah, it looks fine to me. Okay. So you guys can come over here now into your rough spot. It's like somewhere around there. The sizes are still totally wrong. It's fine. Hello there, John. Welcome back. Okay, I am going to zoom into this picture that I have off stream here. Let's see. And it looks like a little moon with a cloud, a little circle, and a little star, and then a couple of beads. Okay. Oh boy. The little moon shape. We are doing small details here, but I like getting the little decorations like this, right? I think that this little this brooch and/or necklace is super cute. So I would like to get it drawn nicely. With a little cloud. I want to make sure the cloud is filled in properly here. There we go. That way, when I go to shade underneath it, I don't have to worry about it. It's just a little easier. Okay, so then we got a little circle at the bottom, so probably like right about here. It's a very small circle. I'd say it comes all the way off, actually. Right about there. And a tiny little star. Okay. And then it is connected by some tiny, tiny little beads. Okay, so there we go. That should be all the main elements, and then there's just a chain. That goes up and around her neck. Kinda hangs on her shoulders. Okay. Looks like it wraps around the little crescent moon part. And we'll go up kind of like this. And then on the other side, looks like it kind of hits where the star will go. And goes up like that. There. And now I just size everything correctly, get it all colorized. I still have to smooth out the moon, but I'm going to do that after everything is, you know, well sized. How big is this relative to everything else here? Okay, let's hide the other elements for a second. I just want to get the size of the moon right. And I'm going to base the size of literally everything else on the moon. So it kind of comes down here. Uh-huh. Oh no, that's just a highlight. Okay. And how far off the trim does it go? It's like sitting on it. I think that's why I thought it was a brooch holding things together. I should have drawn the chain after I did this. Okay. So that's good, and then when I look at it, this part of the crescent actually gets real far out there. It's really skinny though, so I think something like this is accurate. Okay, and then I just can clean this finally. And I think I will shade it all at the end. If I can't see where I'm putting everything else, I'll just invert the colors here and, you know, all will be well. I'll be able to see perfectly with inverted colors. Okay, so there we go. I think that's good. Let's go get the stars on there. I think those are going to be the next thing that really let me get everything. Okay, so this guy kind of sits on the edge and nearly goes all the way up to the top of the crescent there. Very, very nearly. I'm going to be going back and forth a bit. Just because I want to make sure that I have everything in good spots. I think right there is about accurate. And that means that they're the same size, so I want to duplicate this again. The other one was just there for a quick reference. Okay, and then this one kind of sitting at the arc there, and where does it hands touch? The bottom here. Yes, this is accurate. All right. Gem. He kind of sits on the tip of the star. And he's quite tiny. Okay, I think that lines up perfectly. I like that. And it's really nice because I can tell that I'm doing it right, because every element that I add, I am finding its proportions to, and like where it's touching the vestment underneath and where it's touching each other piece of the crescent moon and stuff to be like perfect. So, you know, it's nice to have confirmation that I'm doing everything right. I'm happy. Drawing stuff like this can be really scary because it is just so particular. But it's all working out great. Okay. And then chain, which I will just redraw in its entirety. Okay, so the chain wraps around this part of the crescent moon. Goes up to her shoulder. I should be much more free with this. And wraps around the star here and goes up to her shoulder. And there we go. Once this is colored properly, it should look great. So I think those stars are doing good, and I think the gem is doing good, so all is well there. let's get the moon. So I'm gonna take another look. Yeah. Okay. So there's gonna be like a little ridge in the middle there. And there'll be a nice highlight on there when the time is right. What is the star touch? Okay. Actually, this star didn't work out quite right, did it? Let's see, this star is actually supposed to kinda be going down here like that. I don't think I want to rotate you, actually. Maybe just a touch. Yeah, it's actually supposed to be a little bit more like this, I think. Where the star kind of goes down the ridge of the moon. Yes, that looks much more convincing. Okay. I just want to get the highlight on this ridge here. I'm debating on whether or not we see a side here, but I don't actually think we do. I think it's probably pretty thin through there. Okay. Little tiny highlight up here. I think this side might have a little bit of brightness to it, actually. Strong highlight through here. I don't quite like that, though. Let me think about this. Maybe something a little more like this. Yeah, I think that looks better. So there we go. I think that's the moon. Let's get these tiny little guys down here. I don't think there's a lot to them. Right, they are on a different layer. The unnamed one, because I don't know what to call this. Okay, and we'll just get these guys just a little hint of something. I don't think I gotta do a lot here. And then maybe just a couple of tiny highlights. Okay. And then just time to perfect the chain. It kinda wraps around right here. So I'll even put a little bit of a shadow up here on the brooch, just to show that. But I think that's about all it needs. So the rest, I think, will just be, you know, the usual color, except for the places where it's overlapped. And we'll just send it back. Looks good to me. And over here, it hits the shadow from the head. Actually, looking at it, the shadow from the head should continue out there, so that's all it needs. But you know what? That wasn't so bad at all. I think it looks fantastic. Stretch. Okay. Yeah, so now I can go back and do the cast shadows onto the vestments themselves. I will collapse this category, though, because I never want to look at all those layers again. Here we go. I already have too many to manage. Yeah, now I can just handle all the cast shadows from literally everything. You know, like the veil here. I think this is probably sitting pretty dang close to her chest here. So I'm gonna put the shadow from it pretty close. Same with this part. I just think it's probably sitting right on top. Okay. Okay, and I think that's good for that. So let's get the shadows from the belts. Now these, on the other hand, I think are sticking out a fair amount. Like at the top, yes, definitely just resting on her. But this one especially, this one... Oh, and I forgot to get the chain here. Let's do that real quick. And I think there should be a couple more just around this star. I just forgot this side. It's all good. Maybe a little bit rude to my poor little star friends, but it's all good. I'm sure they'll forgive me. And then it'll get farther and farther away. As it lifts off her body here. Yeah, just like that. And then I just draw the little belt buckle. OBS says that I might be dead. Are we good? Okay, well that was awkward. I feel like I've been having more trouble lately, so I'm gonna look into that, I think. Okay. But I think that's good there. This one's lifting off too. So this one is lifting off, and then I think it comes back down a little. So it'll have kind of an interesting shadow. So it's gonna come down and get a little further away. Gotta make my brush a little thicker so I can do this all in one stroke here. Zoom out a little too, so I can do it all in one stroke maybe. Gonna get a little further away and then come back. There we go. So I'll smooth that out real quick. And from there, I just need to adjust everything on the trim. So I think that the buckle will be like right about here. That's going to be the edge of the buckle. It looks like I'll have to add just a little bit more of the buckle shadow out here. There we go. There we go. And there we go, no problem. So that'll be everything. So that's that whole area done. So nice, we have plenty of time to go in and finish her hand in this extended sleeve here. And then afterwards, you know, I can actually fix this area and stuff. That'll be great too. Okay, so it's arm time! Terrifying. I'll go ahead and leave it open since I know that I'm gonna be making a few changes later. Or rather, I should say that my Vestimate group uncollapsed. I think her hand looks fine. So I'm just gonna kind of render it as is. The gloves look very tight. So there will be some shadows, some wrinkles in it. Type things do tend to have a few extra wrinkles. But I kind of want to... Actually, you know what? I was thinking about smoothing everything out first, but no. Let's get the wrinkles in there. Is there anything about this hand I'd like to change? It looks thin here, but I know that's just because it's partially covered by the sleeve there. So I think that's fine. So sure, let's go put in some wrinkles. What does it show on hers? It shows anime gloves which have no wrinkles. So, you know, I'll just do it from out here, so this way I can figure out a pattern that I like. I don't like that one, so... Let's try something else. If I simplify that, I think that'll look pretty alright, actually. I don't know, do I want it to wrap around her fingers at all? A lot of the time on, you know, like real gloves, there'd be some wrinkles on the joints. But no, you know what? I think I'm gonna keep the anime gloves too, actually. So let's just, you know, make certain parts just a little bit bigger on the joints, like this. With a little bit of extra wrinkle just at the base here. But otherwise, I think that this will work. I see why anime gloves are the way they are. Okay. Yeah. I think that looks pretty good. Okay, so now all that's left is to smooth out the edges. Now then once the edges are smooth and to my liking, I'll go ahead and smooth out the inside. Go from there. Fortunately, I largely already had this hand drawn, so my past self made my life easy this time. And let's see here. Let's see here. It's kind of funny zooming into all of this. Just seeing what the railing in the background looks like right now. Okay, someday. Someday that's gonna look fantastic. You know what? I think I want a slight hint of folds just on the outside here. Just very, very subtle hints here. Just to stop it from being quite so straight. Feels weird to say that after drawing things in my the super angular style that I've been trying out. Because there, it's like curved lines are forbidden. Here, I'm just like, oh yeah, we gotta do things so that they don't look too straight. Art is weird sometimes. Art is very weird sometimes. All right, we just got, what, 2 fingers to go here? Or I guess 1 finger and 1 thumb? Then I'll just, take care of the inside, and that'll be it for that. Actually, looking at the time, I think I might be able to get this entire arm done. Ooh. That sounds pretty good. I do feel like that sometimes the cleaning process of everything can be a bit time-consuming. The difference in how it looks makes it all worth it to me, but I do think it's funny how just for the majority of the time, not very much about the picture changes. It just gets a little bit more refined. Okay, now we're just back around to the wrist here, and I think I'll handle this part after I get the sleeve. So you know what, thinking about it, maybe I should just go get that part of the sleeve now. Yeah, you know what, that sounds good to me. Let's do it. Let's do it. So let's see, how do I want to handle this? That's a good question, because this is tricky, because technically this sleeve is behind my hand layer, but this piece of the sleeve is sitting on top of it, so I kind of got to think about how it's actually going to be sitting there. Let's see, if there's a bump here, then this means that the hand should actually be doing something like this, where it goes in. We should see the wrist through this bump and continue until it is no longer a bump. Okay, so I was just prophetic, and I knew that that's how far the hand would extend. Nice. Good job, arm. You're really smart sometimes. Just knew what was coming. The thumb, I think, still looks a little awkward. Did I make it too big? Yeah, I think I made it a little too big. Okay. It's okay, you know what? I'm glad to have figured that out now instead of later. Well, things are still a little messy. It's weird because I don't think it's long. I think it's just big. There we go. I think I can work with that. We'll just reconnect it here. So this part shouldn't come out quite as much. I don't know if I like that either. No. It was better before. Okay. Is it just the angle of the thumb then? You see, when it comes to hands, at least for me personally, the thumb is like the only part that I have trouble with. The rest I consider fairly straightforward, pretty much regardless of pose. Sometimes I have to kind of think through it and draw each finger individually and stuff like that, but I don't think it's that bad, but thumbs still trip me up a little. Am I just hallucinating? I don't think so. Something's a little weird. Okay, I'm gonna hide the background for a second just to make sure what I'm hallucinating is not based on what I see there. Okay, I think it was based on some stuff merging with the background, because this feels fine now. Okay, that's good. All right. Once again, I'm just adding a little bit of an extra fold there. And I want kind of subtle hints of little folds here and there, but I'm not going to go super hard into it. I'm just going to keep them gentle. I was thinking about it. I was. At the beginning. But, I don't know, I do think that this just looks a little bit better. I do. I think I like this. Just a little tiny bit of fold around each of the base of the joints there. And then the rest just being kind of wavy. Just to show that subtle hint of something happening. All right, and I mean, look at that. We're already like most of the way through it. I really did have this basically done from last time when I was having to jump around a bit because I was drawing a bunch of hard stuff and I didn't really trust myself with it, so I wanted to look away for a while, so I went ahead and finished a different part. And now it's just time to really come in and finish those parts off. And I feel like they're basically already done, so that is awesome. I might actually get through a little bit more than I expected today. And that's a pretty good feeling, considering last time I didn't feel like I got through that much. Turns out my past self there was just really setting up my current self for success. You know, her then future self. Worked out pretty well, I'd say. Okay, and I think that's it. And I think that looks pretty alright. It still looks pretty glove-like to me. So, let's go into the sleeve. Here we go. Okay, so I think this is going to be another one where I kind of do that and the trim at the same time. And I'm going to start with the part that's how to say? Start with the part that wraps around here. So not the purple part, basically. Yes. The part that is not purple. That will be where I start. Mm-hmm. So here, I actually think this part might overlap quite a lot of this. So I guess I have to be thinking about the inside too. Ooh. Tricky. I have to kind of be keeping 3 layers in mind here. First layer being the sleeve itself, the second being the trim sitting on top of it, and the third being the sleeve underneath. Okay, I think it's safe to hide this. Yeah, no problem. Her body's just black. Alright. So yeah, I think that this part will actually be significantly overlapping it. So much so that I think it will actually be, like, coming out. I think it actually ends out here, not where I have it. Because she has, like, these little frills sticking out of her sleeve. So I think that this part will actually not be there at all. I'm just kind of drawing it out so I can, you know, maybe feel my way through it a little bit better. There we go. So I think it'll do something like this. So there's going to be little purple frills coming out. I'll just kind of feel my way through that as I normally do when I draw frills. Like this side will be mostly behind her hand. So I kind of want to show that in her fingers back here. Okay, and then just kind of erase the parts that I think are going to be behind, which is basically everything here. It's okay, it was useful for a time, but now it is time for it to die. Because, well, that's just not what it looks like. I don't need it anymore. There we go. I think that's gonna be pretty nice. We'll extend this part out here. I'll worry about the cast shadows from the fingers in a little bit. But there we go. I think that looks pretty okay. And now we can let this sleeve wrap around as it should. I think it'll actually... I'm just thinking about how it all works. So I think there will be a part up here where the frills kind of connect. And then I think it wraps around like that. So let's see about where I think that the sleeve kind of connects and where it wraps. See how I feel about it. I'm probably going to be changing the shape of things a few times. Because I did not have this part ready. Like I did the rest of the hand. So I'm still just, you know, kind of feeling my way through. So I think kind of like that should do it. I think that looks pretty good. So now it looks like the frills are coming out. We're kind of looking inside them. While she extends her hand out. I don't quite trust myself to render this yet, so we're actually going to hold off on the rest of the sleeve there today. And so I think I'm going to go do this sleeve. So I'll get that sleeve going. Stretch again. And if I can get this looking good, maybe I'll come back to this one after. Because yeah, I think I've done everything on top of it here. So in true me fashion, I feel like we're actually kind of flying through the rest of this. It's like I spend all the time on the face, and everything else, you know, it just kind of comes together. It's wonderful. Okay. So I need to know the width of this arm a little bit more thoroughly before I feel like I can draw it properly. As everything got a little bit messy when I was drawing the vestment on top. Okay, and I'll clean up some residue out on the sides here. And now I think I can start defining the elbow a little bit better. I just like using a few folds here and there. I think that does it pretty well. This one is a bit too far forward. I don't feel like her elbow's quite that far forward. I think this is just some leftovers when things got moved around a bit. But that's okay. I will fix it. Just want to put a little spot right there and a little one right here. Things wrap this direction, because if let's be explicit, I'll draw my little sushi roll here. And this, I should draw it the right direction. There we go. So with the way this elbow's going, it's kind of going into the background. So that means we see this side. So there we go. Now it looks like this little Maki roll's going into the background, and that means things do indeed wrap around that way. So I think I have that correct. But just to add a few more nice little folds in there, I think it'll look good. Just make it look a little poofier and like it's kind of blowing around. And let's see, how does this all connect into the elbow? I think this is probably okay. All right, let's go do those little frills. I think I want them to be a shadow color. So I'm gonna recolor them real quick. What kind of frills are they? They are indeed more square. I think I would actually like you to flop instead of raise. Okay, and this is also telling me that I want this part to be a little flatter and sit on her hand a little better. Yes, that is much better. Yeah, and now it's like all of the frill hair is sitting on top of her hand, and it looks lovely. So like I said, square frills. Little square frills. And I think a lot of the lower parts are going to be hiding behind the sleeve there. So I think that this looks pretty good. But I think once again, I might go jump around somewhere else and make sure I still like this in 5 minutes. It's arms, okay? I don't trust myself when it comes to arms. Arms are my art nemesis. They are my art nemesis. They are what I have the hardest time drawing. So I want to make sure that I like that in 5 minutes. So I will turn this back on and we'll see how I feel about it. I don't think I'm quite ready to look at this yet. So, and I think I want to do this before I figure out the back of her arm here. So let's go in and just do the rest of her body. Got a little itch. Let's take care of that. Unfortunately, it's in a place where I don't have much sensation due to nerve damage, but I always kind of hate it when I get itchy there. It's kind of the worst. Okay, so I'm just filling in some of the spots. Oh, I actually don't have the, like, built thing on a separate layer. That's probably okay. I want to make sure she doesn't look too chonky here. But I think she's looking all right. So we got a belt there, so that's... A belt in the breeze is supposed to be pretty gentle. And I don't think I want to do this until I know the shape of her dress. So I'm actually going to hide it for a little bit. Because I think I want her dress to flutter a little. And I do want to make sure she doesn't look too thick. Because she's got that little belt thing going under her bust. So I think it's important for this part to look like it's tight. Very tight. Wouldn't be much of a belt otherwise. I guess it's less of a belt and more just a cinched part of the dress. I guess that makes sense. Is it belty? I don't know, but it looks like this. Okay, and I'm actually going to hold off on cast shadows and stuff from the vestibits until a little bit later. And I don't know, the dress to me looks very... It looks like a stiff cloth, but it does look very flowy to me. I'm just, you know, taking in the kind of folds the artist used here, for example. So the cloth looks a little stiff, but it still looks decently flowy. So I'm gonna... I want to send it out a little bit more. I'm gonna send them out just a little bit more here. So I think something like that, and then I'll bring in this side so that it's resting out against her leg a little bit better. And I know that this part I don't want to make too flowy. Where do I think her legs are anyway? Okay. So I know this part I don't want to detail too hard, but I just don't feel like it's in the right place yet. So I'm gonna erase like everything over there. It's fine. And we're gonna let this brush up against her leg a little bit better. Moving it quite a lot, actually. So that tells me I, once again, probably shouldn't render it. Although, did I already do that? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna back up. We're gonna back up. And I'm gonna reduce the opacity on this. I'm gonna reduce the opacity. I'm gonna hide the underdress for a little bit. Do I like what the body is doing? That's the real question. You know what? I kind of do. So I think this should be fine, and I'll just make sure that this kind of rubs up on the leg just a little bit more. I don't know. I'm just not quite happy with how it was doing. But it looks like I can trust it a little harder. Because this is actually flying off of her quite hard. Okay. Nah, I can trust myself a little bit more here. All is well. I changed my mind again. I changed my mind about changing my mind. I think it looks alright. Okay, but I think I've looked away long enough, and I still think that this looks pretty alright. I think even the little flip here looks pretty nice. Alright, so I'm gonna say that this layer is technically on top. So I will go ahead and draw that part first. And I do think I will have to go back and forth between that and the trim. And I'll go from there. So I also want to make it clear that this arm is coming towards us, so the trim is going to feel a little bit thin, and I think it's actually already pretty thin on her arms. I have a good off-stream reference here. Oh, they have the little slits like the best of it does too. Let's see, do we see it? What side of her arm is it on? So we have the top. So this is going to be the top of her sleeve, and it is on the outside. So it'll be on the back side here. So no, we don't see it, unless it's on both sides. It is not on both sides. It's kind of just on the outside. Okay. So yes, we don't see it. I don't have to worry about it. But yes, I will be making the trim a little bit thinner looking, so that it looks like we're kind of seeing it from head on. And I think I'll even use the highlight color right through there, because we are completely seeing the side. This is a little bit of an awkward shape. Let's make that a bit nicer here. Just send it out a little like this. Make it a little bit more flippy. There we go. That's a bit less awkward. And you know what? Just so I can picture it, it'll make it easier for me to draw. I'm going to add that highlight I was just talking about. We're going to plop the highlight color right here. And I do not picture these sleeves being especially thick or anything. So I'm not going to make it super thick. But I do want to make it clear that it is pointing right at us. This hand is coming forward. And I do think that that will help me figure out how the rest of this should look. Yeah, that did help a little. Okay. So like I said, I do want the trim to be a little bit thinner than I would put it in other places. There. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. So now I just gotta smooth it out, more or less. You know what? Before I do that, I think I'm gonna go plop in the shadows here. I just kind of want to get everything laid out. I don't think there'll be any shadows there. And let's see. Okay, so this is part of the dress layer. I also want to make sure that her elbow is looking all right there. Sure, let's get her a whole arm while I'm here. Most of this will be hidden, but drawing the hidden parts will help me figure out the correct shapes. Okay. And then back here on the vest of it will be just another part that's just going to be a dark color, because this is just going to be the backside of that. Right now, we'll pretend like there's a hole. It's fine. I'll draw it after I finish the entirety of the sleeve. I don't know. I think her arm still looks a little thick, though. Maybe it's technically correct, but I just don't like it. I want to send her elbow further back, so I'm going to make it a little skinnier. I also don't particularly like the angle of the sleeve there. Or the angle that it looks like her arm is going, more or less. I don't know, I think it's just kind of awkward looking. And I mean, it's just no good if I don't like it. Okay. Well, that's all right. Let's go ahead and I'll try to connect these things. And that will also help me make it look nicer. And then I can figure out where these things should go. Okay, and I see a little bit of the extra part of the body doing there, and okay. Yeah. I think that looks better. I'm actually gonna zoom out and take a look here. But I think the arm looks like it's going pretty far forward. The sleeve looks very poofy. Oh, the arm still looks a little skinny, though. Arms, man. Not even once. Gotta draw more amputees. And you know what I think will actually help me? I'm gonna draw the entirety of this in shadow. It makes sense anyway. So this is fine. And then I can kind of see where the arm and the sleeve overlap. And maybe that'll help me make sense of it. I feel like I'm in a state of I try one thing and it's not quite right. I try another thing and it's still not quite right. So that tells me I gotta try more things. I guess that's fine. Okay. I'll call that good. I don't hate it, so that's... I'm gonna call it good. Okay, so let's figure out how everything kind of bunches up around the elbow here. I'm gonna focus on the sleeve part, the part on her arm, on her upper arm there, I think I can do just on its own. So I think this is probably good for what it needs to do here. We'll just add a little fold there. Okay, and then I'll go back and I'll try to get the elbow part, which, like I said, I'm going to do on the dress. So I'll just add a couple more light spots to show the sleeve bunching up a little bit. Honestly, I think this might be sufficient. I'll let it wrap around just a little bit more, but I think that's probably good, actually. I don't think I needed to do that much. Okay, yeah, I think we're good. So let's go smooth this out. Time to zoom in all the way. I guess 200% can hardly be called all the way, but it's generally as far as I want to go. Only occasionally do I venture into the realm of 400%, and I can't even remember the last time I went closer. Okay, and with all that planning, this is actually pretty easy. I just needed a little bit of time to figure it out. And now all is well, and her dress is still in the way. So I can't have that. There we go. Okay, and I do need to be very particular about how the dress and the trim on it wraps around this here, and I don't think it does that. I think it's gonna be a little bit more like this, where it kind of gets tucked backwards. I think that'll look very nice. Gonna send this like all the way up. Yes, that's wonderful. The vestments are in the way, but I'm too afraid to hide them, so I guess I'll deal with it. I could invert their color at least. There we go. Now I can see. I think it'll also make it easier to put the backside of them up against the arm here. You know, when the time comes. It is not yet time. But we're getting there. Alright, let's send this back behind the arm a little. We'll let this kind of come out and around. And it'll cover part of the sleeve. And this will make more sense after I shade that part, so I can tell what I'm going for here. That's what matters for the time being. Okay, so I'm not going to be able to fully smooth this out until I do that. That's fine. I'll finish smoothing out the parts here that are on top. But before I go in and do all of the rendering, I've got to do this under part here. The frills. Okay, and I have declared that it gets cut off there. So let's go do the frills now. So I will just smooth out this entire thing. This is going to be one of those where I kind of have to do the inside and the outside at the same time. That's very doable. So I want to get these top ones, the ones that kind of rest on the hand. And then once I have that looking the way I want, I will be able to... Actually, I think I want this since it's kind of all inside. I think I just want it to be this color. We're just kind of peeking inside a bit here. There we go. That looks pretty nice. Okay, there's no point in locking this because this is all on the inside here. So I do need to be careful anyway. I will do my best to be very careful. The downside to doing it in that color, but it did make the initial curve a little bit easier for me to understand. So, a necessary sacrifice. I must unfortunately tolerate mild inconvenience. It is what it is. Okay, and I kind of don't mind these two areas merging together somewhat. I think it looks fine. So this is the point where it kind of is underneath, and then it kind of flows out. And this feels very correct to me. So now I think I can actually worry about smoothing the outside. And from there, I'll be able to get the inside. And, you know, once again, I'm not too worried about the color I'm using. I think I'm just going to use this one all the way around. It's easier for me to get smooth edges when I'm not constantly trying to switch colors. And then I want to revisit one more thing, because these frills are kind of square, and right now I have them drawn very round. So I kind of want to make them a little bit more square, actually. Let's see, how should I make these a little bit more square? Because I still want them to be kind of round, right? Just because these things tend to look nice. And I don't want anything to be too sharp or anything. No sharp edges here. This is a comfy scene. We don't need to cut ourselves on the edges. Oh, is that some hand residue? No. Are you sleeve residue then? Yes, okay. Let's see. Okay, so how do I handle this? I think it's kind of like this. And then it goes in, and then it's all in the background, and I don't care anymore. So that is perfect. Let's go make it nice. Let's see here. I think this should actually come out a little bit more at this angle. Okay. There we go. Now they're looking a little bit more square to me. So I think that'll be good. So now I can focus on smoothing out the inner area, and then I can get back up to the sleeve. One more stretch. My arms just keep locking up. They've been having some trouble today. Gonna do a big stretch. To be fair, I've been drawing since like 3 hours before stream, so I mean, I'm kind of going into hour number 6. I drawn a lot. I really do want to try to post a time lapse very frequently, like twice a week or more. Like maybe I'll end up doing less on the days that I write tutorials or post tutorials, just because I do need time to write those, but for the most part, it's like, yeah. I changed my mind. I don't like these melding together quite like that. A shape like this should be quite nice, I think. Okay. I'm just gonna, you know what, I'm gonna zoom out a bit. I'm gonna try to do most of this all in one stroke. I'll zoom in and clean it up a little bit if I have to. I'll probably have to. Just because I don't feel like I quite have the accuracy when I'm zoomed out. 100% isn't that zoomed out, though, so, you know, maybe it'll be okay. Let's find out together. I'm just gonna finish smoothing everything before I zoom back in and double check it all. And like I said, I want to handle the cast shadow from the hands at the very end, because I do think that it'll be quite far away. I think that I'm gonna do it from like all the way over here. So something like that. But I don't want to do it yet. I want to do it when I am zoomed out and I can check everything. Okay, so that should be good. Let's see, I think I want a little bit more shadow from this. So I'm gonna do that. Yes, that is much better. Okay, now let's figure out the hand. I think I want a little bit kind of cutting into here. But like I said, I think I still want this, the, like, very explicit shadows to be quite far away. Okay, I think that looks good. So let's zoom in real close and double check it all. Are you guys nice and smooth? Is everything good? Okay. I was pretty dang close, though. I was pretty dang close, so I'll give that one to myself. Okay. And let's see, I think that there should be a couple more folds. Just, from right here. Just, in this case, it's more just gonna be the rough edges that I go for. Just to make it look like it's a little bit more folded up there, and maybe just, one bigger one through here. You, I think, look fantastic. And the rest, I think, is fine. So there we go. That'll be it for that area once I smooth it. Then I can get back to the main part of the sleeve. Alright, I don't do it like that. I do it from the hand. I think I actually need to erase a little. I had to think about that one for a second, but no, I think this is correct. Just let it come out. There we go. That seems pretty nice. And I just fill it in and all is well. Got a nice little fold there, and I think that looks much better. Okay, yeah, I think that looks pretty good. So, let's go ahead and just... I'm gonna turn her dress back on. Because I don't think it's in the way anymore. Okay, I have some pixel dirt out here, so let's get rid of that. No, it's not in the way anymore. Perfect. Okay. So I think I'm gonna start with the trim, and then I'll work my way back. Yeah, man. I'm looking at this, and I'm like, holy cow, I might actually finish both arms today. I wasn't expecting that. I figured I'd be lucky to get one. Today is a good day, apparently. It's like, not only am I getting one, I drew all this too. So, yeah, today's a very good day. Maybe I should do more drawing in the evening too. See what I have time for. I've been having fun with my current off-stream drawing because it has fireworks. I drew it specifically because I felt like fireworks. I don't know. I just got random drawing urge, and I was like, okay, let's do it. Sounds good to me. Still more Variance project. Like I said, I'm probably going to be drawing a lot of them. And after that, you know, I'll probably follow my whimsy somewhat. I have a couple of ideas that I like. I do have some stuff floating around in my brain. Okay, I actually think there should be a shadow here. Probably kind of like this. No, no, just from over here, I think. They're pretty close together, so it's not going to be that big. And now I just want to make sure that this is all the right thickness. I think the outside's looking pretty all right. So it's just a matter of getting this part. And then whatever tiny cast shadow that would come from this little bit of trim, I think just how far this is going forward would cover it up. So I will not be drawing any trim for this. Or any shadow from the trim. That was the phrase I was looking for. Okay, and I do think that there will be a little bit of shadow from that thumb. So I actually want to draw that on the sleeve real quick before I really get into it. I think it's only going to cover like this corner. But still, that's a corner that needs shadows on the trim. Yeah, I think that looks pretty all right. It looks like it's coming from the thumb. Back to that regularly scheduled dealing with highlights. I'll let him kind of extend a little bit further out into it. Kind of like this. Just to make it clear that, you know, it is still going. It is. I am too far zoomed in. There we go. Okay, and there we go. I think that's good for the trim. So now sleeve. I think I have that like half smooth. I want to make sure that this is all filled in. That looked like a hole to me. So it's only half smooth. So now we'll get it fully smooth. And I want to make sure that it does not cover the vestment here. It's okay. Any colors that I need, I can do on the dress layer. And it'll work out just fine. Okay, and I think this is looking pretty smooth. I think I can be happy with that. Yep, that's all covered up there, and maybe just a little tiny corner coming out here. There we go. Now they're overlapping a little bit more nicely, and... there. Everything is all right. Oh, that's a hole. Okay. There, now everything's all right. Hello there, Pulrentine. Welcome back. No. I like it going a little further out here. There we go. That's a good shadow. That's a good shadow. Just finishing up her sleeve here. It's almost done, and it's looking like I might be able to get both of her arms today. I'm not quite sure about the second. But I am really close to being done with this one, and the other one is basically ready. I just need to smooth it, and that'll do it. I looked away from it for a little while I was trying to get it all correct. and I wanted to make sure that when I came back to it in 5 minutes, I still liked it. And I do. So there's not actually that much to do. I will go ahead and finish off the rest of this arm first. Ah, shoot. Ah, shoot. Oh dear. I thought that I still had enough space. I was wrong. Give me just a moment. Okay. There we go. Just had to make some space. I thought I was going to have enough space to get through this today. I got a new hard drive for Christmas, and I just haven't hooked it up yet. I haven't had a chance. But videos are big! And I record everything so that this way I can make a time lapse. You watch and don't post. It's okay, you know, never worry about lurking. I am honored to be background music. So even if you just say hi and then never say anything else, I appreciate it. I actually like it when people say hi because it lets me know you're here lurking. Okay, I can't stand trying to do this on 2 separate layers, so I'm just gonna do it here. Okay, and I think that shows the elbow folds quite well. I guess I'll go ahead and do the backside of this before I do anything else. Yeah, sure, let's do it. Okay, so now I know exactly how big her arm is here. So I can very safely paint in the backside of everything. And then all I have to do is grab the dress layer and erase around it. Or I do not want things to be showing. Easy peasy. This is why I wanted to hold off on actually handling the backside of the vestment here until I drew the arm. Because then I just do that and it's easy. So now I adjust the trim and that'll do it. Fill in over there and clear back here. Honestly, this part right here probably going to be the hardest part of this entire bit. And even it is not that bad. Okay, there we go. So I got the backside of that in there now. So let's go clean up this arm. And I've got about 15 minutes left. So let's see how far I can get through the sleeve here in that time. I'm debating how I want to handle this because I see that the sleeve is coming out through there. How awkward. So I drew it like this because I thought that her arm was a little skinny. How does it look if I just trust the Vestimate. I'll have to redraw that fold, but that's fine. Okay, so let's hide this. Does it still feel skinny? No. Okay, so I'm fine. All is well. Alright, in that case, I'm gonna hide this for just a sec while I smooth out the edge here. And I still do like this, right? Yeah, I think so. I think it looks alright. Little fold right there. Okay. Yeah, I guess I shouldn't be worried too much about that just yet. I'm just gonna smooth out the outside, like I normally do. And then I'll worry about all the little shadows on the inside. Gotta do one thing at a time. Okay, and there we go. I think that's good. Down here is going to be all in shadow, so I'll go ahead and smooth it with my shadow color. Just wanted to send it straight across. Okay. I kind of like the where I have the sleeve sitting here. It's just a little bit blurry on the edge. I just kind of want to straighten that out. I want to try not to move this at all if I can help it. Tiny little bits are inevitable, but as little as possible. Okay, the curtains are a little bit in the way, so I'm gonna go hide them for a moment while I kind of figure out what's happening here. You know, I didn't actually intentionally put the hand behind the curtains, but I'm kind of glad I did. I don't think the hand looks too bad, but it'll still save me some effort. Okay. So I think before I go and handle everything there, I'm gonna go work out the trim here. Just because that will help me with everything else, and it'll let me know which areas are gonna be covered up. So that I don't have to worry about them. Let's see, about how thick is the trim on her sleeves. Oh, that's right. She also has that slit going up her sleeve. Okay, is it going to show on this? It's on the outside, right? Yeah, it's on the outside, so no, it's not going to be showing on this side either. But yes, the trim on her dress is quite thin. So I'll just very carefully glide my eraser. Okay. And I think that's good, and I don't think it needs any particular shading or anything. Because it's, you know, just kind of in the back. so I think that's fine. Honestly, I'm not even convinced that I need this much shading on this sleeve, but I found it hard to express how it was moving without shadows on the folds here, so I just decided to roll with it. Let me turn the estimate back on. This way I can know which parts to ignore. Okay, actually, I want to finish the estimate. I think I have the arm looking pretty okay, right? Yeah, I'd say the arm's looking pretty okay. So let me find it again. Select. And clear. Just kind of erase all the spots that I think it is overlapping. Or that the arm is overlapping, rather. Yeah, just like that. And now it looks like it's behind the arm. And indeed, I don't think we see the underside here because everything is wrapping around this way. So this will be kind of... The backside here will be going kind of from over here. And I don't think we see it. Okay. Back to folds. But now I can also get in kind of the cast shadow here. And that'll make things look nice too. I figure it's pretty close to the arm, so I'm not going to draw too big a shadow or too far away. And we'll get something like that. Alright, 5 more minutes, and I think I am pretty well set on being able to finish off this arm. Yep, just one more little fold here. I'll send it all the way out to the edge. And I do think I will put a little shadow from the trim there, just a little guy. Nothing too serious. And that will be all the shadows for the arm, and that is both arms done. I still have to do the hand on this side. That'll probably be the first thing I do next time. That'll probably be the first thing I do next time. Oh yeah, there we go. Arms are done. I am free. Okay, let's fix the colors on the vestments. And I might have to do a little bit, because yeah, this is all kind of fading into itself, huh? I probably want one more color. Okay. I have time. It'll probably only take me a couple minutes. That's a good color. And let's see, I think I want to fill in this little gap too. Oh, is my brush still set to multiply? Yeah, I don't want that. It needs to be normal now. But there we go. This should help me separate the back of the vestment from the arm a little bit better here. And it's nice and easy to do, since I have that trim acting as a buffer between it and everything else. And this one just has that tiny little bit right there. Okay. Yeah, that looks much better, and this all looks pretty nice. So I still do have to do those frills, but you know what? That's okay. I'll handle that next time. I think I'm just gonna go turn on my layers. Some of them, probably a little bit off now, just because so much has changed. That's alright. That's to be expected for the areas that I haven't finished yet. Curtains and the color. Oh yeah. But there we go. That's another step here. I'm making everything look messy again because I haven't done the lighting. The lighting will make everything look a little bit messy until I go ahead and clean that up. But I have made the executive decision to finish Leia herself before I get into that. And, you know, I think I might actually do that next time. Unless this hand proves to be a complete nightmare, which it's back there, it's behind a curtain. I doubt it. Oh, that's right, I also have braids. Okay, maybe I won't finish this next time. There's anime hair involved. I forgot about it completely. Okay, maybe it'll take 2 more. But soon I get to do the pretty lights, and I'm so excited. Just when I get to do the pretty lights, it's, that's just when everything becomes great, and I get so happy. I love lighting. It's wonderful. Okay, but this is where I will stop for today, so thank you all for coming, and I hope you're able to make something wonderful today. I will see you all tomorrow.